and welcome back to Meet the Authors. This is our third segment for today's show, and I'm very proud and happy to introduce Joe Seward. Joe Seward's a longtime coastal native, though not from here originally. Where were you from originally, Joe?
Originally, I was born in Texas, but I grew up in Albuquerque, New Mexico. And we wound up in Mississippi because I was in the Air Force. And we retired here from the Air Force, and we sort of fell in love with Ocean Springs, so we built a home and stayed here.
That is wonderful. You know what I really like about your image? You're just like this old Mississippi poet. Just sit back and write your poetry. I love your presentation. In fact, your military, you're telling me before the show a story I really want you to tell us now about the first poem you had published when you were working in Panama. Tell us that story.
Well, I was a very young man stationed at Albrook Air Force Base in Panama City, Panama. And down in Panama at that time, there were two breweries. There was the Balboa Brewery and the Milwaukee Brewery. And my favorite beer was Balboa. And one night I was drinking beer in a place, and I got a little idea, and so I borrowed a pencil from a waiter and scribbled down a little poem, and it was called Ode to Balboa. And it goes something like this. To you, dear sir, I raise my glass and marvel at your cunning. For as I read your history, sir, I find your feats most stunning. I can't conceive the things you did, the hardships you endured, as you across the isthmus pushed, by naught but dreams were lured. When you stood on that mountaintop and gazed upon the sea, there was a scene created that will live in history. Now you, dear sir, have many feats, on some I have expounded, but what you are most famous for is the brewery that you founded. Well, I got a wild idea, and I typed it out and sent it to the director of the Balboa Brewery, and in about 2 weeks, I received back a card from that director that said that I had an endless supply, free Balboa beer as long as I was in the country. And so that was my first payment.
And they published that one on the menus of their...
Yes, they did. I got to see my poem many times.
So you've written poems throughout your life, and you sent me a couple to look over, and I want you to read one for us now.
Okay. This was written when I was concerned about my weight and was wanting to take off a few pounds.
We can all identify with that, can't we?
And I was standing on the bathroom scale one morning, and click, got these ideas. And the title of this thing is Lines Composed a Few Feet Above a Bathroom Scale. Goes like this. There squats the smirking bathroom scale that very soon will tell the tale of who will win and who will fail. Will self-control or food prevail? And is it all worth my travail? Now very soon that fateful dial will pass its judgment on my trial, and in its cool, indifferent style will register my self-denial and tell me, is it all worthwhile? I see the dial between my toes, and round the needle goes, and oh my God, my belly shows. What will that evil thing disclose? I bend and stoop to read my fate and hope that it will not inflate and magnify my wretched state, or else will not exaggerate at some wild exponential rate. I look again, my joys abound. What wondrous thing is this I've found? My belly isn't half so round. My mouth emits a happy sound. I've lost another ugly pound.
Yay! That's a great poem. I love your poetry. So what inspires you? I see bathroom scales and beer inspires you. So when do you find that you're writing poetry?
Why or where or how?
Whatever you want to talk about.
Well, I have to be inspired by something. If it works me up, it comes out in rhyme. But otherwise, I mean, I just write what affects me and what stirs me up. And believe me, I have some poems that we could not read on the air.
So it was a delight to have you on the show. Thanks for coming out and talking to us and reading us your poetry.
Okay, thank you for having me.
All right. So we really appreciate having our local authors come out and talk to us. Some are published, some are just amateur poets like this, some are writing memoirs which get their heart out. All of you who are interested in writing could be writers too. Just keep that in mind and soon you'll be sitting here next to me too. Meanwhile, I hope you'll turn in on the next program again with Meet the Authors by Philip Levin. Thanks for tuning in. Go to my website, drstreams.com. You can pick up any of my books or any of our guests' books. All the guests have been invited to put their books on my website and get them directly from there.